Hello, YouTube. I just wanted to state something very important that represent the theme of the last year in my 20s. So, earlier this year, I had Versus Battle with Robert, where he chose a Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode with Exodia. I was able to come back with Toast popping up from Code Lyoko. Mandela Effect episode, which is in the late 80s if you watch Code Lyoko on YouTube. Which is a Mandela, because we all know specifically that shit only lasted with 60 episodes. When you look it up and Cartoon Network, who am I to agree? Who am I to disagree? You still download the episode and make content. So if you don't know, literally, that was a regular Ed decision, and that's how 29 started. Because if I automatically obliterate your statement, literally come back and have you contemplate throughout the whole episode, and then come back with Anakin Skywalker, means I'm in regular Ed, but it was no use because literally the lesbian cops gave me no regular Ed rules, meaning that I had to be in a position of intellect. There was no other year that hurt me more when it came to intellect, but what kept content was the knowledge. The shit that I was doing before, Versus Battle and Chi-Chi, and you look outstandingly immature because you defeated the purpose of life, hence why you compare me to somebody dead. Now this is very outrageous because this whole point, literally, is me being regular ed in a special ed setting. So what I did was I used the board education all throughout this year, and I took a tutorial. This year turned out so different because, so let me get this straight. There used to be a thing where every Christmas I used to celebrate, at Funimation, or at my home. Lately, when it came to Dragon Ball Z, I would watch all the color, anime, like everything's connected to Dragon Ball Z. I'll make it a thing, and then it happened a time, literally, what I was up against, a gang. Literally, why I, chose to imitate somebody that hits houses. But it was in the same filter, and this whole fucking thing literally is stupid. So what I did this year is I learned game. Through full disability and knowledge of the system, I learned that it's a two-way street when you talk about your uncle and why things are complex. Like, earlier this year, literally, I walked around with Orange after I went to a bookstore. And a lot of things piled up. Like, first of all, literally, it was gonna be the worst year of my life, physical movement, literally, while I was trying to tell them, this is the only way to be mature. You see how you're viewing it as a delicacy instead of comparing it to pussy? Everything is very straightforward. Like, I break down, literally, at Alpha Omega. If girls are fucking them on the outside, literally, he's being belittled by people like Omar Lily, Mr. Pleasure, etc. It's even more reason to go with your logic. They're saying, ha ha ha, little airs for the afterwards sleeves, fuck everybody in junior high. Because what that is that somebody abusing you. That's somebody literally, you are thinking this, and that, literally, and there's a landslide on the outside that he can't take advantage of. And you end up doing bad with those people because you use logic. And guess what? This little stupid ass domestic violence thing, literally, that revolves around your children, literally, this and that, literally, it's all less than Ben. Here's what happened, literally. I was on self-defense, relying on the whole story for the whole time. And the guns were in the same filter as the woman. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna be a little kid? Are you gonna approve of the fucking gun charges? You gotta tell him fuck off like you fucking did. Well, I did. If you don't approve the woman, I'm not approving of the guns. And Ben can't do that shit. It comes every time in somebody's life where they have to do it, literally. Mr. Pleasure predicts this shit, T-Dub predicts this shit, Aaron's didn't approve. Literally, that is literally all this shit is. You know how many fucking, bitches I fucked just for a year that went out with Ben? Literally, you know how many times I figured out, this year that, bitches were talking about how they fucked me? Literally, and then Ben got one ass after hearing it, after knowing that I fucked Elaine, out with her, it's crazy. So I just came to the conclusion like, yo, girl's gonna do what she's gonna do over something weird. Literally, this is real life. I learned how to take control, literally, and pound like a hood nigga because of that reason. You're not gonna disrespect me on the outside. Double by this and that, literally. If you really want to go there, lesbian cops, literally, then Omar was offered to be a regular ed. Ooh, these gangster statements, and still continues. Because they're butthurt. Literally, when you challenge, Asperger's or full-on retardation, what it's gonna do? It's gonna make you recognize something, or make me recognize something less. Because, what I figured out over time, literally, if somebody needs to have, Dirt 6 right then and there, if somebody's literally playing it like you're not a threat, because that's what you do with autism, you say that's not fucking threat. Literally, when you have something complex, a whole entire timeline with that person, then it's crazy. From the Ryan and this and that, everything is not working, literally. Multiple manga panels this year, I just got mad, man. I just forgot about it. Because you can't be arguing after Fireman, I'm like, you know what, it's whatever. Because somebody has to view this shit like me and somebody's gonna have to recognize, like me, it's still gonna be slice of life anime, it's still gonna be this and that, like Dragon Ball Z is just a fucking business. Why playing the game after he died isn't fun. All the shit that I watched this year, and I'm done. I'm particularly done. Because what I stated, literally, and how I got, to feel good inside and know that it's valuable on the outside was really infuriating. The whole time I said, why can't you be held accountable just like I'll be held accountable when ever since something done in HS? and nothing happened. You see, what I know about lesbian cops is they're at the end. Lily, you know what they do? They go literally at the fucking campfire, literally. They get their way, literally, by spanking elderly woman, and then they run game on little black kids. Ha ha ha, he didn't know he was supposed to die. Lily, so all this logic, this, and that is dragged on. So you bet you're me, Lily, because I'm the only, common denominator. But they act retarded. You say a lesbian cop has a handout of a blood, and I just start fucking laughing. Because what's crazy about the situation is, they want to escalate or de-escalate, and as a man, you come to a conclusion that, yo, this is what's about to happen. I can explain the 7 Ninja Swordsman literally through his spider string. I'm like, I'm done. You know what happened literally when you had this complex platform where I can perform Dragon Ball Z colors in Stadium, but then my mother literally brings it down to where it's just a cartoon. When I was fully able to like physically perform in my revelation literally of watching anime, not just the martial arts, but living through it athletically, to get through you was horrible. So I made amends. I fell back on my little Godfather. I dropped the Godfather literally. So, I told him straight up at 29 where I made the shot literally. I dropped the Godfather. That's on you. And the ultimate thing I learned about this year, no matter how many alternate timelines that I make, the first timeline literally was when life got the most critical. When they told you to go to school, when they said this, and for you. So what happened was my sexy ass survived literally, and I got to, own Bush by, doing things in real life like modeling, singing, making music, doing things, socially that outweigh the ARL. How does it feel, literally, when you play up life critically versus what I did and what I presented at 29? Nothing, literally. You got the last laugh because you recognized that you had style and you played off, the original formula. That's why I saw Mr. Pleasure in the movie, and that's what happens to an adult, literally. When you're a thug or you're a gang, you give your talent to somebody else, literally. You let the government control you instead of you making your own decision. And do you want the full one, you want the truth? I see bits and pieces of me at Alpha Maker, sometimes in bed, sometimes feeling the wood, but never literally just waking up literally, full sequence. And the thing that pisses me off, not what's on TV, not this knowledge of, the Fruitcake Studio. The truth of the matter is, saw, the lesson of life turned into one big giant piehead. It doesn't matter, literally, if you got obsessed with sorority and Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally, because life repeats itself. When Sparking Zero came out, I knew that was the biggest downfall in the grade of all time, that literally, that cringe, user Pojo literally made sure that everybody could do a zap at will, literally. It's sort of the high school problem. As soon as I started playing Get Like Fire Z, I gave up. There was a guy named Quint literally, from Last Kids on Earth, but looks just like me. A Tribe Called Quest. Now listen to Tribe Called Quest, and it's pretty out there. About everything, the Poker Face, literally, I saw 2 guys in Chicago that used the same thing, and I thought it was lame, man. But what did it end with? Bleach Rip the Souls. That was adjacent. That was connected to fight. That was exactly connected to my research. So here's the thing. I won because I kept up for Evolution. Even though I knew Evolution stopped stupidly. Tried watching literally Elliot versus Anthony to make Brickhouse Bandit, and it didn't work. Literally, I got Mirage earlier about how hard it was to beat Uncle Tommy as we were both fucking, Westward, and I got to see it at the end of 29. It's all bullshit. The lesson behind this video is I am a normal person at the end of the day because, as much as you are breaking down, literally, if you try to manipulate me, literally, my disability went up technically on paper, and, I no longer have autism, literally, but the whole joke was, oh, I feel your fucking uncle, literally, has a bigger disability on paper, literally, that was the whole point, that's why he can, literally, drive in both lawns, literally, do all the stereotypical shit, and that's where I started learning to juggle for Adult Swim. You don't get anywhere, literally, until you actually been to jail. You try to manipulate me, well, something went up on paper, buddy, it's not my dick. Excuse me, Aries, literally, from fucking mythical creatures, you have erectile dysfunction. And, I got caught up with everything fucking, Blue Lock, Dr. Stone. And one thing I have to, really state, after that Gundam movie from that one guy who I kept on seeing in the movies, who was my best fucking friend, literally, when me and Courtney went to the movies, this was this guy with shaggy hair that we saw every time. It was funny. And the Gundam movie where the character looks just like Rainer literally made me feel something. And you know what? When you can't get your gangster way, when you can get your present PG, 29, really pissed me off and let me know something. When I was ready to move on, you didn't. And life was like Tetris / DDR. I've got stupider, literally like when I used to look at Naruto Vids. Hey, Jesse McCrackboob! And now everything's not organic, and the whole principle, that was put in front of me. I showed the lesbian cops everything, literally how the A-Row told me literally to go graphic design, literally how to grow up to stop being a little kid, to make sure your moves literally come with something instead of, being in your head like A and B's. To make sure you're made proper and everything that's went to fucking dust, because now they want to get right jacking off. They want to get aware of food tier and Honestly, lately, back when I was watching Project Nazi and I, slapped All I Know, that's all that, that means to me. Even though I am, growing, I don't know, lately, where my life is going to take me, but I know life can't go far. For some reason, lately, because you kept on comparing everything to an ass, it became a small world. The more I eat, the more I recognize the things to like, I used to survive on top ramen. The more I eat things like, trying to eat pizza lately after, eating bananas and fucking beef for a whole fucking month. The more I recognize why somebody literally did not let me be a grown-ass man when I actually moved on and pushed weight. When my final message to you, if you want to play Eradicate the Saiyans, there's still Xavier. And that's it.